Welcome back to Ireland AM. Our next guest found himself at the centre of global headlines after joining the Global Sumud flotilla attempting to reach Gaza last week.
It quickly turned into an international incident after those on board were stopped and detained by the IDF. We're delighted to be joined by Josh St. Ledger, who was on board one of those flotillas. Josh, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Can you describe the moment that your boat was intercepted?
Yeah, so it began, we had an online kind of communication platform that we used, and we started getting messages that there was reported interceptions, we call them, kidnappings really, that boats were starting to get approached by the Israeli military. And then it was kind of a red alert. We woke everybody up on board, and kind of minutes later we saw an Israeli warship, and we saw a container ship. But from the previous kidnappings off Crete, we knew that that container ship was a prison ship. And at the same time, actually, our engine cut out, so we were just sailing. So we kind of just had to wait.
Yeah.
We saw our kind of friends and other boats getting taken. We saw the ribs getting launched from the warship, and two at a time, and they'd go to two boats and then they go back. So we were kind of just waiting for a turn. We were just kind of, at the time we were kind of trying to support each other, and we followed our training. We removed anything that could be possibly conceived as a weapon. So kitchen knives, anything too sharp. Our phones all got thrown overboard, because if they got our phones, they could, get some information on the organisation and try to spin that, or they could, falsify data and use that as evidence. They'd probably do that anyway. And then we kind of just waited for them to arrive. The mood was relatively high given the circumstances, but it was. But every few seconds, we'd kind of realise the reality of the situation, and it would fall down again.
This was 430 kilometres off the coast of Gaza. You were in international waters when all of this happened, when you were boarded. Now, you just mentioned there your training. Training came into this.
Yeah.
But there's training and then there's reality.
Yeah.
So when you were taken by the IDF, and we've seen the videos that have been put out there, that the world has reacted to and made people think what's happening when they're not filming.
Yeah.
What was the reality like, Josh? I'm sure there's training and then there's reality.
Yeah, so do you mean...
when you were on land, when you were taken by the IDF?
Yeah, so we were actually on the prison boat for 2 days. So there was two prison boats, and I was actually on the one which wasn't treated as bad, but there was still a woman who was shot by non-lethal ammunition in the leg for standing in the wrong place. We weren't told that there was anywhere we couldn't stand. But the other boat was the one where all of them got beaten when they entered, and everybody got beaten by 3 people, and if they found a reason, they'd bring in a 4th. I was talking to one man who had painted nails, and the soldiers said, we love gay people in Israel, and they called in a 4th person to beat him further. And that was the boat where there was 14 sexual assaults, 12 of which reported, to my knowledge, is probably more, and 12 of those were rape. So on my boat, it was we were under constant threat of gunfire. They had non-lethal weapons, so they were kind of these beanbag things, but they still broke the skin and caused serious damage. And they would threaten to fire if you looked at them for too long, if you kind of did anything they didn't like. If you sang, or if you chanted, or if you requested food and they said no and you kept requesting, things like that. And then when we got to the port is where it kind of, for my boat, that's where it got worse, where they started calling people name by name to go through and get zip-tied and then taken away. But when my personal experience when I got zip-tied was that they punched me in the face and chest and threw me against the wall. I was fully cooperating. I wasn't saying anything back. I had my hands out. I was zip-tied, my passport in my hand, and then they continued to bring me down an alleyway, like the hallway, and push me against the wall, tell me to keep walking when I was walking quicker than the guard, punched me in the side, and then when I got the next section, they said, get down, threw me onto the floor, kicked me and punched me, and then the next section after that was where you've seen the video where he's standing above everybody with the Israeli flags in the background, the Israeli national anthem, and that's where I witnessed that's where I witnessed the worst of what I saw.
This is a video with Ben Gavir walking through. Yeah.
That one. That's the tent. Yeah, I was at the back of that tent, and I witnessed the tent where people got beaten on the way in, and I witnessed a woman get pulled in and sexually assaulted, and she was screaming that she was getting sexually assaulted, and I could only see people's feet, and I saw four guards follow her in that tent.
It was a humanitarian mission.
Yes.
You're in international waters.
Yeah.
You knew what was coming, I would imagine. We've seen this before.
Not to this scale. The last year it wasn't. According to people who were on the mission, it wasn't. This treatment was.
Well, that's
escalated.
what I mean. So you knew that they were probably going to capture you in some way, and you had the training, but the training was not to the level of what you actually encountered. By the sense, this is worse than what you're expecting.
Yeah, I don't think there is training for this. Our training was mainly to try help us cope and to remain non-violent, which is paramount to the mission and paramount to the ideals of everybody who joined up on the mission.
How are you? These are all alleged incidents by the IDF. How are you feeling? You went there for a reason. Obviously, the world has eyes on this. Everyone is talking about it.
Yeah.
But how are you feeling? How are you?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I still haven't stopped moving, but every time I think about it, I think that everything we went through was beyond comprehension of how evil they were acting and how they acted with impunity and how they were proud of everything they were doing. They were laughing and singing the whole time, and every time I think that, I think this is what they're proud to show on TV, and for Westerners who and not just Westerners, but people all over the world who they know are going to bring this back to their media, to their governments. I'm terrified to think of what they're doing to the Palestinians, who have nobody internationally in their corner, really. There's 9,000 Palestinian hostages, political prisoners, in their prisons, and for them a political prisoner could be throwing a rock at a tank. Over 400 of those are children. So the same guards who were beating, assaulting, sexually assaulting and torturing people who they knew would be reporting this back to the world.
They'd be reporting this back. They're acting, as you mentioned, with impunity.
Yeah,
thank you so much for joining us this morning, for talking to us, and we really do hope that you're okay, because you obviously are still dealing with what you just went through last week. Josh St. Ledger, who was on the Sumud flotilla last week, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Josh. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Right, time for a short break. We're back in a couple of minutes.